Hi guys, welcome back to another video. My name is Sophie, aka Peachycraft. So today Ohuhu actually reached out to me and sent me loads of goodies. So everything here was sent to me. So I've just got lots of nice new things to test today. I've got an Ohuhu mixed media sketchbook, coloured fine liner pens, gel pens, a watercolour paint set and some brushes. So I've already squeezed out the watercolour paint and put them in this tin. This wasn't included, just to see how they dry and how they re-wet and activate. So we're going to paint this nice painting today of this lady's face using the watercolours. So what I'll do is I'll get started and I'll just talk about everything as we go through it. So whilst I'm painting, I thought I'd talk a little bit about the products that I was sent. So for this painting, I'm actually doing it on Archer's cold press paper, which is 100% cotton. Just as with watercolours, I always use cotton paper, so it only seemed fair really. But I did also try out the Ohuhu mixed media sketch pad as well. And the sketch pad is £122 and it has 62 pages. Watercolour worked absolutely fine in it. It's just, obviously with cotton paper, it just absorbs better and creates nicer textures. But definitely for a mixed media pad, I definitely recommend it, as the Ohuhu alcohol markers layered pretty well in it as well. I also got sent some gel pens, which I'll try to use a little bit later for the highlights as you're watching the video. You'll see the pen really struggled to attach itself to the paper. I did some experimenting and I figured it out. It wasn't the watercolour that was the issue, it's the actual paper itself. So I think because this is textured paper, the gel pen just struggles to layer on it. So I had to try and use white gouache. I just couldn't use the gel pen with it. Because in the sketchbook, the mixed media, it's more of a smooth paper, and the gel pen layered absolutely fine on top of the watercolours in that. So I would recommend, if you do pick up these gel pens, to use them on a smoother surface rather than textured, as you just won't get the opacity that you're wanting really. The coloured fine liner pens were probably one of my favourite things, just because they're nice and bright. You get every single colour. Sometimes black line art can look a bit harsh, so it's nice to have the option to use coloured fine liners. I'll use them a bit later on in the painting again. Just bear in mind that they are water soluble. Especially the coloured ones. I didn't test the black ones to see if they're any different, but the coloured ones especially are water soluble. But it's neither a con or a pro, because it's just how you decide to use them. You can wash them out for desirable effects if you want. And then the actual watercolours, I was actually quite impressed with these. So you get a 24 set of watercolour. Now don't get me wrong, they don't have any pigment information, so they're not professional paints, but they are pretty good if you just do sketchbook work, or you're just not a professional artist, you're not selling your work. They are pretty good, to be honest. You get 24 colours, they layer quite well, they're nice and vibrant. So yeah, they were pretty nice. My favourite colours were definitely the cerulean blue, the violet and the scarlet. Those were my favourites. But in the set itself, like I say, you get 24 colours, and they're all the standard colours you'd expect to see. So just for example, you've got ultramarine blue, viridian, burnt sienna, rose, Prussian blue, lemon yellow. That's just a few examples of the kind of colours that you'll get in the set. But the thing I was more impressed with, which I didn't realise, in the set, there's a set of brushes. Let me see if I can find them. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 brushes. Oh no, six. And I really liked the large one at the beginning of the painting, just for laying down flat washes of colour. I thought it was really good. And upon using these brushes, they work for watercolour. They don't hold too much water, as you'd expect from something like a squirrel hair mop brush, but they do work quite well. I'd probably use them a lot for gouache as well, I'd imagine. You'll see that I struggle to get a fine point with one of them, so I actually switched to my black velvet round brush size 4 towards the end of the painting, just for finer details. But overall, the brushes I was pretty impressed with, and like I say, I wasn't expecting them to be in the set, so that was a nice bonus. So yeah, I had a pretty positive experience with these things I was sent. Like I say, I wouldn't use them for professional work because, well, the paints I'm on about, because they don't have their light fast ratings. So you just don't know how they'll hold up unless you do personal tests yourself. But the fine liners and the gel pens I'll definitely be using again. I will be using the watercolours again in my sketchbook. So yeah, I really enjoyed everything. In the mixed media pad, I actually found I really liked how alcohol markers worked on it, because I don't typically buy smooth paper, so it was really useful for alcohol markers. But I'll keep trying other mediums in it as well, just to see how they react. So far, watercolour works fine in light layers, and so does the alcohol markers. It also comes with one of those plastic sheets that you put behind the page just to stop the alcohol markers bleeding through entire pages, which is really good as well. So I thought I'd swatch everything out and talk a little bit about the sketchbook as well. So here you can see in the fine liner pack you get loads of black options, and then all the colours of the rainbow as well. And on the watercolour painting, and I also used these with alcohol markers, they worked really well, they layered fine, there was no issues. And then I've just swatched the gel ink pens at the bottom. I normally use an acrylic pen for highlights, a white one, and the gel pen, the white one, it was more see-through, but it was easier to use, as sometimes acrylic pens, they can be a bit messy, they can spray everywhere. But I did notice the gel pens especially really struggled layering on the watercolour paper. I don't know if it's because it's textured, because they worked fine in this sketchbook, which is more smooth paper on top of watercolour. So it could be because of that. So overall, they were pretty good. And then I also did just some paintings in this sketchbook as well. This is with Ohuhu alcohol markers, and you can see I've just got layered up some white gel pen and some fine liner. And then this one is actually watercolour. Now this is mixed media paper, so if you are using watercolour in it, I wouldn't recommend doing lots of layers, as it can start making the texture go a bit strange on the paper. But for light washes and just light multiple layers, it worked fine. As you can see, the white gel pen did layer quite well on this paper, so I think it is because this one is cold press, that's probably why it struggled on this one. So just something to bear in mind if you do ever use them. And then with the watercolours, there is 24 colours, so I just swatched them all out. As you can see, it's kind of like your typical range of watercolours with all the basics that you need, with some nice bright vivid colours as well. And then that's just an example of how they mix together, and this is on not cotton watercolour paper again. So yeah, overall nice and pretty, nice and bright. Okay guys, so this is the end of the video. I'd like to say a big thank you to Ohuhu for sending me all these products. They were all really nice to use. My least favourite was probably the gel pens, particularly the white. The silver one and the gold ones were nice. It's just the white one, I struggled to get the opacity I liked, but the watercolours, the fine liners, and this sketchbook as well, just for nice, just practice pieces and just having a play in a sketchbook really. Oh, you can see there how much the alcohol markers bled through. Forgot to show that earlier. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Have you tried any Ohuhu products yourself? And let me know what you think of this painting. I tried to go for a pastel rainbow vibe, just so I could use as many of the colours as possible and get an accurate representation really. So yeah, thank you for watching guys. Make sure to like, comment and subscribe. Bye!